Alright, Shalom Makim. It's your brother Ariaga from the Grand Rapids, Michigan camp. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, highest honors to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I'm Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Bakar Kwadash. To all the brothers out there in Great Millstone. To the brothers out there who do these works in truth and sincerity, Shalom. Just coming back with another lesson. Y'all Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai put on the spirit. Something we kind of briefly talked about, me and the brothers last week amongst ourselves. A little bit on camera too. But this one is mainly going into, was Amalek, or could Amalek have been the serpent, or had that same spirit as the serpent in the Garden of Eden? Now, we know that the flood wiped away all nations, right? The flood that involved the ark and Noah and his sons and his household. All right. So it's not to say that that was Amalek itself. Yeah, but it was to become Amalek as they are today. They have a lot of similarities, so to speak. All right. And as we know, go throughout Genesis, knock out a couple of scriptures. Try to get straight to the point, because it's a good amount of scriptures to come out. Terminology. All right, so let's go straight into it. Let us see. So let's start at Genesis 1:25. And Yahweh made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Yahweh saw that it was good. Right, so that terminology right there for beast, or the meaning of beast right there, I looked it up. That's not to get it messed up. So people are like, just talking about animals, All right. Bring out some scriptures to back it up. All right, so this is a beast in that part right there. Where it says beast there right there in the 25th verse. It's Chae, which means lively. Some of the terms that was in it was lively or alive. Okay. Let's see. Once I wrote it down. Active, and then it says of man. Okay. So I'll read that one more time. Chae, alive, lively, active, of man. Okay. So that's one of the things right there. It lets you know that those beasts that came out at that point in time, as it says, and Yahweh made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind. All right, so one of the key things to point out there when it said with Chae was the likely of active, lively of man, right? Actively of man. That was the males that were around at that time. Let's go further into it. And Yahweh, let us make man in our, kind. And it said, the cattle after their kind, everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Yahweh saw that it was good. And it said, in the 26th verse, and Yahweh said, let us make man in our image. Now, this is when man comes into it, okay? But there's a clear difference between Yahweh distinctly saying, let's make Elohim, because God right there is Elohim, which was the angels in Yahweh Shai in unison in creating this place with Yahweh as the overseer, okay? Let us make man in our image after our likeness, right? And that image is the image that we have now of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, which the main misconception of it, they think it's just all how we look or what have you. It's really mainly in that purpose right there, and it being there. Images that we have, image that we've created of, is the order that we have of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So we have a heavenly order. That's why the Most High chose us and gave us this. He didn't give it to all the other nations. All right? It said this would be our wisdom, our knowledge amongst the nations as well. All right? Because this was given to us to distinguish us from the rest of the nations. henceforth a ruling class mentality. Okay, that was something that we received from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Even to this day, even though a lot of our people are niggas, they still have, I wouldn't say a ruling class mentality in the right mind, but, you know, they like to get dressed up. They know how to get dapper, so to speak. Luxuriousness, all right? Even a nigga on his last $5, $10, you know, they'll go do some luxurious shit with it, stunt with it, or what have you, okay? Because that's the royal spirit that our people possess from the creation, okay? It says, let us make man in our image and after our likeliness, right? The likeness as in earth, so it's as in heaven and in earth, okay? So we have order as in heavenly things, or as in the heavens. At least we did at one point in time. And this is why we have an elect 144,000, because they will be the heads of Israel and the kingdom to come. And there will be order once again. And that elect is being risen up right now. All right, so that's why we're the hopeful elect, and we do the things of those soon to come, soon to be leaders in the next kingdom, hoping that, you know, we would be a part of that. So we try to endure through a lot of these things that we go through and continue these works, even until the end. Like Paul said, you know, we want to run this race. So in the end, we want to be found, you know, if the Lord bless us to make it to the end, we want to be found in good staying with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and we may be delivered from this place. And Yahweh said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, to be rulers. So Yahweh created man in his own image. In the image of Yahweh created he him. Male and female created he them. It wasn't just talking about male and female animals. Okay? It was talking more so in the sense as well to explain who those beasts are. I mean, it's a two-edged sword. And those beasts, I mean, when you go to call them men, yeah, they're men of perdition. The men of perdition, also known as the beast, right? That's one of the EU and NATO union. It's known as the beast. Why? Because it's the heads of all these beast nations. Okay. All these different nations coming in unison, because Israel doesn't have a nation. The Israelites don't have a nation. Okay. We don't have a nation amongst that, so all these other nations, the 13 nations brought together to make that unison, or the beast, so to speak, that the Bible speaks of. And Yahweh blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth on the earth, which we will have full dominion over once again when we enter into the kingdom. But as of now, you don't want to try to go up and pet a lion or do some wild shit and try to, you know, tame a serpent or some shit like that. You're going to fuck around and get yourself hurt, man. Let's see, jumping on to the 3rd chapter. And some of the things I also want to point out with that, so far as pointing out that man, or Esau, or Amalek, drawing it all the way down, however you want to point it out, that reference being to beast also being made to man. Esau, the so-called white man, was in a primal state, okay, which they slowly but surely reverted back to. And in that primal state, what do they like to do? They like to destroy, they like to kill, you know, all they really know is destruction, you know, causing uproars in the planet, because that's what they was created to do. That was their gift. Their gift was the sword. Esau's sword. Okay? And contrary to popular belief, they like you to think that Adam was the only one around at that time. Well, Adam, there was no other nation. It was just Adam by himself. No. Those beasts that was present on the planet are these devils that are around you in spirit today, in spirit at that time, through reincarnation, as I did a lesson prior to this on reincarnation. Reincarnation, those are the same devils that are around you to this day. Oh, that's Salakia. So I was going to go to Job to further explain that, okay? And then we're going to move on. Trying not to take up too much time, okay? Because I want to get all of this in. Like I said, I got a couple scriptures to go to. All right, so this is Job 30. Check. As soon as you hear that Job 30, you know what's up. This is Job 30:1. But now, they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose father I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Right? And you want to settle with the dogs of their flock, because to this day, like, I need to put that video up. I still have it too. That Edomite, for example, that Edomite whore that was in the bathroom, her German Shepherd, talking about having sex with dogs and shit, and how it's better than having sex with humans. It's because these devils find nothing wrong with that. Why? Once again, because they're a beast. The proof is in the pudding. You got a couple of wick-ass jakes amongst our nation that do that shit. They falling after the nations. The nation in the whole, basically, when it comes down to primal instinct, they have no problem doing that shit. Okay? Set a dog and an Edomite in a room for a long-ass period of time. Just lock them away, and it's just them, give them food. Eventually, that devil's gonna fuck that dog, man. All right? Especially as a bitch, a female dog, or just an Edomite bitch. They will fuck that dog. They will do it. All right? They will fucking do it. Because it's in their spirit, too. That beast spirit. Yea, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Right, and they fleeing into the wilderness, butt-ass naked, you know, just running around like the damn beasts that they are, man. You know, they do that shit, they tried to do that, bring that back in the 70s real heavy, even as to now with their nudist beaches. Run around butt-ass naked and shit amongst each other, just drinking Mai Tais and eating hamburgers and shit, you know, like it's normal. That's not a normal thing, but it's something normal to other beasts. You know, a beast, I'm like, oh man, that motherfucker, you know, his balls is out. You know, a monkey don't care about that shit. You know, that's part of the difference that the Most High gave us with that image, is knowing that shit like that is not cool. You feel me? Even as it go further into it, when I continue it in Genesis, when they tell you that Adam and Eve was naked, it didn't talk about them being naked in the sense that they were just butt-ass naked and they weren't ashamed. No, man. They had nothing to hide from y'all, but y'all shine. Okay? So I don't be like, oh, well, Adam and Eve were butt-ass naked. No. I need to pull up the terminology on that as well. Slovakia. Slipped my mind slightly. But continuing on. Fourth verse. Who cut up 30 and 4 of Job? Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat? They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief. All right, we chased them away. Get the fuck away. Digging in your trash and trying to have sex with your animals, or even kill your animals and shit and take them. I had to chase them away like the farmer got to chase away the fox from the hen coop. They were driven forth from among men that cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valley and caves of the earth and in rocks. And you mean, to this day, you go to a cave, you're going to find nothing but beasts, creeping and crawling things, bats and shit. You know what I'm saying? fish with no eyes and shit like that, like, or you know, that are blind. You know, when you look at the National Geographic, you'll see all that shit, man. You don't normally just find a person that's living up in that shit, considering the circumstances, man. All right, I mean, it's a simple thing, but you know, the wicked shall not understand. So, I'm not here to convince the wicked. We just here to edify those that are in the truth. To dwell in the cliffs and the valleys and the caves of the earth, and in the rocks, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were violent than the earth. I mean, if something is base, I mean, that's a detestable thing, man. That's a low thing. All right? And he's so-called white man, even with all this money, he's still a base man. Some of the base people are the richest motherfuckers on this planet, man. All right? That's some of the most basest people. They eat babies and shit, sacrifice and drink blood. What's that bullshit they call art? I don't know what they living art or whatever the fuck that shit is. Oh, spirit cooking, where they take that damn Edomite bitch and take some period blood and piss and semen and breast milk and mix it all together and make images and shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. That's some bullshit, man. Okay? That's one of the reasons why they so base, because it's not that you see that amongst the lower of them. You see that amongst the higher ups, man. Half of the lower motherfuckers that are slaves, you know, they still violate their own way, fucking dogs and shit, but they try to live a so-called normal American life. But the higher up you get, you know, behind closed doors and closed curtains, those motherfuckers with all that money is doing the worst shit, the vilest things. All you gotta do is look on YouTube, Google, you know, do your research, man. If you don't know now, by now, the 9th verse, and now am I their song, yea, I am their byword. They abhor me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face, because he hath loosened my cord and afflicted me. They have also let loose the bridle before me. Upon my right hand rise the youth, they push away my feet, and they raise up against me the ways of their destruction, which the so-called white man destroys everything he touches. They mar my path, and they set forward my calamity. They have no helper. Right, the Most High is not with them. He's giving them the ability and the knowledge to make these different weapons of warfare and to do this. But they don't believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They don't serve him, and that's not their power. All right? It's the driving force behind them. But they don't acknowledge that. All right, so let's go back. I just wanted to bring that out so far as to follow up on, you know, these devils being a beast. So, other numbers 24 and 25. Follow up on that. You know what? No, before we even go there, let's continue on in Genesis 3. Now, the serpent was more subtle than any beast on the field. Oh, hold on. No, let's go down to Genesis 2 and 7. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai, power formed me, man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. The man became a living soul. All right, and the sea, they came, so that whole explanation came from the dust of the earth, right? Even though Esau lost his melanin, it was curse of Cain. Everybody came from the dust of the earth. That's something. Everything that was created, all right? Even the creeping things and animals of the planet, including the beasts. So back in the day, you beasts, you devils had your color. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. So he had separated him. All right, that's one of the first things he did after the creation. Separated a small place in the east, which is now Jerusalem, Because Eden was the planet of paradise, all right, was the world. At that point in time, the world was a paradise. And he took them and he placed them specifically in the eastward in the Garden of Eden, which is known as Jerusalem today. And out of the ground made the Yahweh Shem Yahushai power to grow every tree that is pleasing in the sight, good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. All right, that tree of life, for the comprehension that we know of, well, first of all, that tree of knowledge and good and evil, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge, good and evil. Tree of knowledge, the trees, period, is a representation, okay? And the life has always been Yahweh Shai. Yet, the tree of knowledge and good and evil, first of all, trees are people, all right? And I got a couple scriptures to back that up, all right? Or a humanoid, I would say. So, let's go to Isaiah. Oh, you know it? No. Better yet. To start that out, let's go to, I wrote a couple scriptures down. Let's go to Luke 6 and 40. Yeah, Luke 6 and 43. Now that point really drove it home. Just to clarify something before I bring out any of the ones that's in the Old Testament. At least they say, oh, that's in the Old Testament, brother. You know how they always do that. Not that I care, really, All right, so. Luke 15. Luke 6, 43. So just continuing on, shoot. This is the subtlety of those devils. Got motherfuckers thinking that they had an apple and all of this other shit. Man, we're gonna break all of that shit down. Let's see. This is Luke 6 and 43. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doeth a corrupt tree bringeth forth good fruit. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doeth a corrupt tree bringeth forth good fruit. For every tree is known by its fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor the bramble bush gather any they grapes. All right, and the comparison, the parable that he's using in this is to show you is the tree, and that's a comparison unto man, because, like I said, a good man out of the good, for a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt. For a good tree bringeth forth not corrupt fruit, right? Because of someone that's, let's say, for instance, the apostle elders of great millstone that are in this truth, right? They bring forth good fruit. How do we know that? Because that fruit can also bear more fruit, because the seed of that fruit isn't corrupted, all right? So it's going to continue to bring forth good fruit. That seed then is going to produce another tree with more good fruit seeds, all right? Which is this word, bringing out this word, truth and sincerity. And it says, neither doeth the corrupt tree bringeth forth good fruit, because anything corrupt, like this plantation Christianity, for instance, for example, considering the history that it has and when it was created and how it was created, nothing good can come from that. This is what we try to point out. Same thing with these other Israelite groups that are going off in this or that way. We never, a great Muslim has 100% truth. It's not just one man that has that truth. It's a grove of trees that possess that same truth. And the closer you get to the middle, which is the upper hierarchy, which is apostle elders, and then it branched all the way out into a forest, So let's go to Isaiah 9:10, starting rent, you know. Let's see. All right. Write down. Isaiah 10 and 19. This is Isaiah 10 and 19. And the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and let's start at the top. Let's start at 17. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame. And it shall burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day. Right, the coming destruction of this place. And shall consume the glory of his forest and his fruitful field, both soul and body. Right, they brought up the soul and body right after that, as that to show you the parabolic comparison to the destruction to come, and the wiping out of the flesh and the soul and the body. That the soul will remain that the body is destroyed with, and they shall be as when a standard beareth fainted. And the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them, right? Because it's only going to be a remnant that makes out of it. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped out of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. And but they shall stay upon Yahweh Shem Shai, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. Went to the comparison of the elect or the remnant of Israel at that point in time, right after that, to show you what that's going into, or reveal further what that's speaking of. Let's call it Ezra 31 real quick. All right, excuse me, Ezra. Trying to be quick about it, brothers. Trying to be quick about it. Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay. Let's make sure. Okay. So this is Ezekiel 31 and 8. The cedars of the garden of Yahweh could not hide him. The firmament was not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches, nor any tree in the garden of Elohim was like unto him and his beauty. Right, so it's going back to the comparison of it's going back to the garden and the comparison of the trees. Okay? It made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of Yahweh envied him. This is all the nations envy us right now. They came together to bring us into captivity. All the nations envy us, and envy what Yahweh Shem Yahshua placed within us. When he breathed into our nostrils, he made us something different. He gave us his images. The image it made them in us, like it made us in his image. Okay? And his likeliness. Having that order. They don't understand why we are what we are, how we can do what we can do. They don't comprehend it. Really, because it's the image that we were created in and that was placed in our spirit, which is of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh. The cedar of the garden, Yahweh could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches. And that's why the comparison also in the New Testament of the olive tree is constantly made unto Israel. Israel is that olive tree. The oil is used to anoint, okay, amongst everything else. But that's one of the key things of life anyway, is having oil, you know. Oil and wine and water. And it's, like I said in the Apocrypha. Nor any tree in the garden of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai was like unto him in his beauty. I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of Yahweh envied him. Even to this point, all those trees envy us, right to this matter. Right to this very day. They still envy us because they see something that they don't have. Like, we are beautiful in the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai because we were made separate unto him with the image. Okay? Whether it be the look or the law, statutes, and commandments, they envy that. That's why they are always so quick to talk shit about it. How dark you are or something like that. They talk shit about that because they envy that melanin, that look. And we hate it because it's been installed within us. That Stockholm Syndrome, a part of it. Alright, so let's continue on real quick. So that's another example right there. Alright, so that tree, as to what that tree was talking about, the knowledge, the tree of good and evil, and the knowledge, the tree of good, evil, and the garden of Eden. Okay. Let's go back to Genesis 3. Yeah, that verse right here, 2:25 of Genesis. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. No, it's not talking about them being, butt-ass naked, Don't get that screwed up, please. Because that, we always had a comprehension of these things. It was a beast that got that twisted up, that choose to be butt-ass naked all the time to this very day. With the nude beaches, like I said before, as an example. As the apostle had brought up as well. Genesis 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had made. Any beast more subtle. All right, let's go. And he said unto the woman, Yea, as Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. Right, because every tree of the garden, or every nation of the garden, you cannot mess with them because there's one more subtle than any other one. One to this point is the most subtle one on the planet at this point in time still. And I wrote down the definition for serpent, which is nakash, which one of the definitions was image of a serpent. So the comparison of it was just letting you know how they get down, because anybody that's known as a snake, even to this day, it's not a good thing. Usually somebody that's subtle, that talks shit, that's slick, somebody that's wicked, And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, right, because even women, and I'm going to be honest with you, men can be easily persuaded. Women, if a man is, how much of a woman? You know what I'm saying? A woman is weaker than a man in every way. So how much more? That's why, just like they do today, these devils go after your woman. Because they know that even with these church houses or however they approach it, they get your woman, they can usually get you, especially with the chip. As the chip is coming soon, one of the main ways that they will be able to get you is through getting your woman, man. All right, Esau knows that. He programmed, hey, he's been doing this from the jump. He knows exactly how to get to you. All right, and one of those ways is definitely through your woman. Okay, that's the same subtlety that he's always bared from the beginning all the way up until now. And look at her, she telling them all this business and shit, telling them all the business. Oh, well, the Lord told us not to eat. So Esau know exactly how to get it out of y'all women, man. Y'all males too, but mainly y'all females, man. Be honest with you, because you the weaker vessel. And that's why they approach you first. Like, send a woman to go get a car fixed. You know, they're going to stack up all kind of charges because they're going to try to play to that. You know, some women be like, well, I know about cars and my dad. I'm talking about the average woman, man. All right? The average, you know, good amount of males, if they don't know, have any kind of understanding, they can get duped too. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're going to take it even further with a woman, okay? All right, continuing on. But the fourth verse, Genesis 3 and 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. And Yahweh doeth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. You know, in other words, let's just say women's lib and equality is part of that. And when the women saw the tree and that the tree was good for food, right? So it's philosophy of knowledge. And that it was pleasant, whether it be the worshiping of their gods, it doesn't matter. All right, any of this Americanized way of thinking, let's just put it to you like that, because this place is the worst one. This is Sodom, Gomorrah, Egypt, all of these places put together. So the comparison after that would definitely, you know, that would be a good comparison as to that. Is this American way of thinking, you know, this American mentality that our people are cursed into still holding together and thinking it's right. This is one of the fruits that was devoured, man. The combination of different wickedness from different nations harvest together into one. Continuing on. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eye, and a tree to be desired, to make one wise, right? Because what do they always take in school now? Women quick to take psychology. That's probably one of the top things that I see or hear women respond to when you say, what are you taking? Oh, I'm taking this and that psychology, you know, because they want to know how a man thinks, man. Because they want that authority. Because that's something that's been pre-installed into the society, that's been pre-installed into them, you know, programmed into them. And a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And he got his ass sucked in, you know. Adam fucked around and got sucked in. Let's be honest, man. You know, he got sucked in. And once we've all fallen victim to that once in our lives, you know, getting suckered in, you know, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, the pussy's good, you know, mind you, that's his first wife, man. I mean, his wife, nonetheless, only, but it's like, that had his head pop, you know, that had you be open to some shit. But that's when sin comes in, because when we start getting caught up into this flesh and start losing view of what's really happening, all right? When we start losing view of what's really transpiring, because it's all about what Yahweh Shai said, and his word is a living word, so it's always continuing on, whether you stop for it or not. You know, it's continuing to flow. And if you let it get ahead of you, then, you know, the Most High cares about you and he loves you, he's going to chastise you. Okay? And once that chastisement can be a motherfucker, man, because it's just like, you know, chastising your children, staying on top of, because you love them, you do it. If you didn't give a fuck, you wouldn't do it, you know? If you did not give a shit about your children, which a lot of these people don't. That's why these little niggas go to school and ain't shit. Because people are afraid to do the things that are necessary to try and borrow them off from this world. They just give them up to the world, you know? They don't even try, and they blame it on the condition of the world. And they want to try to do something when it's too late. This is Sirach 25 and 13. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. All right? And what she did was some wicked ass shit. Yeah, Adam fucked up. Just like I said, as we all have. And we learn a lesson after that. And sometimes we end up having all our shit taken away for that. And have to start all the way over. But you know, it's for our learning, and it's a beautiful thing. 16th verse. I have rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. All right? And I mean, shit, you got cats that dread going home, man, and shit like that. And that's crazy for me. I was one of those dudes when in my youth, and shit that I didn't know, you know, and I got rid of that one, you feel me? Because that wasn't gonna work. That's some shit that just doesn't make sense, man. It'll destroy you. It's a true vexation, man. You want to go home. This is the 19th verse of Sirach 25. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, but the portion of a sinner fall upon her. I mean, goddamn. I mean, I could go all day with that. But I'm trying to go ahead and make my point in that, because I keep going, man. It's going to turn into a whole nother lesson. And if that's what the Spirit wanted, then so be it. Yet I'm do my best to stay on par and on task. All right, there's one more scripture I wanted to bring out. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. All right, there it is. Ecclesiasticus 25 and 25, or 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin. Right, that was the beginning of sin. She went in and she took all of this knowledge in and these different ways to these heathen that you see. And at this point in time, they attack our women with it first. Perms and all this other shit. And then they teach their children that, because a lot of the times the males aren't around. Whether it's because they didn't went and fucked the nigga and he ain't shit, or, you know, they separated because this bitch ain't shit. And of course they give the children to the woman and make it so this dude is too busy working on his life away just to pay off child support, or constantly in and out of jail because of child support. However the setup may be. It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Right, because what he say? If you eat of any of those the fruits of knowledge of good, of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you surely die. And since that took place, man, because of her, we all die. That's just what it is, man. You know, that's the reality of it. Oh, well, that's not me. Nobody's saying that's you specifically, but shit, that's what it is. This society constantly places. This serpent is behind that, pushing that. Who's pushing that right now? All right, that men ain't shit. That men is just a piece of shit. Women are better and, you know, stronger and faster and smarter and all this other bullshit. The one that's pushed that forward is that serpent, which is Esau to this very day. All right. So let's continue on. Here we go. Let's see, Genesis, the 3rd chapter. And it's 3 and 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Right. But once they figured out what was going on, you know, he had knowledge of certain things, of wickedness, man, it'll start making you see things that you can't unsee, knowing things that you can't unknow. Even to this point in time, you have people that are ashamed, of the heritage that the Lord has given us. All right? See cats, you see a whole army with tanks and navies and armies and shit. You know, you see a nation with that, these cats start doubting the Lord. Let alone when you get these different philosophies and these belief in other gods. I mean, you thinking that you enlightened, and really, you just fucked yourself up. You dug yourself into a hole so deep, you can't see right from wrong, man. So here come all the lies, sewing these fig leaves together. They starting to sew all of this bullshit together. You understand? Because now they leaning on their own understanding from philosophies and the ways of these other nations that they started attaining. All right? And they heard the voice of Yahweh Shem Shai walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Shem Shai amongst the trees of the garden. And the trees of the garden, once again, is the nations. They hid themselves among the nations because they was ashamed. Jumping down. The 14th verse. And Yahweh Shem Shai said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. You devils are definitely in confusion now because you don't even know where your origin is. You don't know where you come from. You don't know the gods that you originally worship. You don't know shit, man. All right, and not knowing a goddamn thing. You devils just living on, carelessly. You don't even know that it's World War III time. You continuing on your wickedness, man. Out here, just like 2/3 of our people doing the same thing, man. Native American, Latinos, and Negroes out here doing the same nigga shit, along with these devils, oblivious to what's happening. And I will put enmity between these